Meta might seem clever, as deep as an endlessly recursive hole, but I think it's more like an infinity mirror, surprisingly easy to set up and gives the illusion of depth by just reflecting back on itself.
Self-awareness does not absolve anybody of anything.
Bo Burnham's insight is universally loved, but I'll be honest, I thought it was just alright. It's not bad by any means, but I had some issues with it that I'd like to go over. But first, a bit of foundational context.
Bo really leans into the fact that there isn't an audience. He made sure to really accentuate that this is just him in a room putting this all together. And it's mostly not pretty. The transitions are rough, his room is a mess, he'd show himself setting up a camera or fiddling around with wires or having to do a retake, you know, just mundane, boring shit.
It's fucking boring, but that's like the point, I think.
You know, him setting up the show and fucking up the show is all part of the show. He was essentially vlogging.
Hi.
I mean, sure, this is an exploration of life under quarantine, but I think it goes a little beyond that.
Online personalities thrive on relatability. They're real.
That's a huge part of a lot of people's success in branding in the influencer age. But at the same time, these people can be fake as hell. At the end of the day, this is a business for a lot of people. They post content to make money, to get as many viewers as possible, or to seek attention and validation.
At the end of the day, I am a selfish man who does this because I love the attention and I make millions of dollars.
They only let you see what they want you to see. No amount of referencing themselves or the audience or acknowledging what they're doing changes that. So how authentic is that really?
Bo probably didn't really mess up a take, and he certainly doesn't need to show that to us. How much of this is just a performance? What does it mean when the line between creator and person becomes so blurred? Whoa guys, he's literally acknowledging and then clearing the separation between us. It seems like he was trying to make us grapple with all this, the implications of how modern content is created and consumed. And of course, this has been an ongoing theme of his.
But frankly, whatever his intention was, I could not bring myself to care. I mean, that is not a stimulating enough of an idea to justify how much of it was in the special.
These dull, low moments happened consistently, periodically throughout the entirety of the hour-and-a-half runtime. This shit really just dragged on.
I want a more neatly packaged product for consumption without Bo constantly pointing to, acknowledging, or questioning what he's doing.
Should I be joking at a time like this? Are you finding it boring?
I mean, should half your special be a BTS of itself? Don't get me wrong, in little bits and pieces, I think stuff like meta commentary, exploring the relationship between you and your audience can be really cool.
But strewn repeatedly throughout the show, it just felt like, okay, come on, I get it, let's do something else now, huh?
So there was a segment where Bo acts like a children's entertainer teaching kids how the world works through a happy-go-lucky song, but the presenter's sock puppet sidekick is jaded, dark, and very far left. It's anti-capitalist, it talks about imperialism and violence, and it was super ambiguous whether Bo aligns with the sock's point of view.
On the one hand, you know, it's literally a sock puppet, so you'd think that undermines basically anything coming out of its mouth. It also said some pretty extreme shit, like how every politician and cop protects the pedophilic elite. And when Bo, the presenter, asks the sock, you know, what we should do about all these problems, the sock glibly brushes aside the question and admonishes the presenter, telling him, I don't know, just go read or something, you stupid white man, something to that effect. Which seems to further suggest that the sock is like a crazy, shallow dumbass, just as much as the presenter is. On the other hand, the sock did end up getting silenced and oppressed by the presenter, just as it predicted, and that gave it some legitimacy. Also, what it said about, you know, white man, shut up or whatever, sort of harkened back to what Bo himself said at the start of the show. And a lot of the sock's ramblings were interspersed with what sounded like slightly more reasonable analysis.
There are two options here. Option one, Bo is making an explicit political statement, either agreeing or disagreeing with the sock, and if that's the case, it was really poorly executed because it confused the shit out of me.
I think that the average audience member watching that will come away hearing whatever they wanted to hear politically.
Ha! It is clear that Bo hates this insane conspiratorial dipshit cum holster. Socko? More like dumb fucko.
Or option two, he isn't picking a side and making a political statement. This is more of a meta point about the state of modern discourse. And if that's the case, I find that really boring. I don't like that you can bring on a character like that and basically cop out of taking a strong position, when there's a fair bit of blurring about where you stand. The sock segment was sort of a microcosm of my larger issues with the special. It just felt like there was too much ambiguous meta jerking off. If any of you are familiar with the YouTuber JReg, I have the same issue with his content too. I don't want to give you the wrong impression and just shit on this, because there were things I liked. It definitely had its moments.
Bo has this great ability to shine a spotlight on specific intricate details of certain situations and interactions and highlight their absurdity. And it only works because of how well he understands the subject.
From corporations taking a grand moral stand, to the sexting song, to white woman's Instagram, these were moments moments that were clearly absurd and funny, but also scarily accurate.
Also, the music, the songs were really good, just aesthetically. Like, All Eyes on Me slapped. Welcome to the Internet, I thought was great. It really captures how we're all bombarded with a little bit of everything, and how we can pick and choose where you want to place our energy. There's so much out there online with the bells and whistles, and how almost disconcerting and isolating that can be. The special, purely from a standpoint of this is one man doing all this shit, is really impressive.
But despite the positives, as an overall package, I can't help feeling a little shortchanged. Those good moments are dragged by about 30 minutes of mediocre filler. Keep in mind that the evidence I used for not liking parts of the special might have been the exact things that made you love it. Maybe you didn't care about all the meta shit, you just enjoyed it as a character study, a glimpse into someone else's psyche. This is all just a matter of perspective and just something to consider. Also, expectations might be a relevant thing here.
I came in mainly wanting to laugh, and it didn't really get a laugh out of me, like, with my belly. And I get that he's the more like introspective, darker type of comedian, but damn, I feel like the balance was a little off. It was almost unrelentingly depressing, and instead of that inspiring something in me or bringing out some strong emotions, it had diminishing returns, and by the end I didn't even feel sad or down. I just felt bored. As of right now, I'd give the special like a C+. Maybe that would change if I came at it again with a different mindset, but yeah. Alright, that's all. Peace.
The world is so fucked up. Systematic oppression.
Actually, you probably meant systemic oppression? Fucking yikes, am I right? Get a load of this loser.